Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we are going to do just a quick live stream.
Thanks for jumping.
Um, so let's do that. I'm going to post this in a few different places. All right. We haven't done this in a little while. So, what's going on? Well, Bitcoin's above the 20 week. What's our thesis? Our thesis has not changed, by the way, with Bitcoin being above the 20 week. What happens? You guys know the answer, right? Pop quiz. What happens when Bitcoin's trending sideways above the 20 week? You know, this is it's like crypto 101, if you will. What do you want? You want Bitcoin above the 20 week. What happens if it goes above the 20 week and goes sideways? You guys know? Let's go. Let's start moving, right? As the saying goes, when the dog's away, the cat will play, right? So when Bitcoin is away, Bitcoin's the dog. So when the dog's away, the cat will play. Ethereum's the cat, my friends. But you guys know what comes after that, right? When the cat's away, the mice will play. And the mice are indeed playing. And that is where the altcoins come out. And look, I know, technically speaking, and again, being technically correct, as we know, is in fact the best way to be correct. Technically speaking, Ethereum is an altcoin. With that said, it operates and it moves differently than a lot of other altcoins. So, when we talk about altcoins, I'm not referring to Ethereum, even though Ethereum, by the strictest definition, is an altcoin. The reason why I'm treating it differently is because it behaves a lot differently than a lot of other altcoins. So, when the dog's away, Bitcoin, the cat will play, which is Ethereum. But if the cat's away, then the mice will play. And this is what's going on right now, right? I mean, you know, Bitcoin's above the 20 week, it's going sideways. Ethereum's not doing anything. I mean, it's actually kind of bleeding right now against Bitcoin, if I believe. Let's go take a look. So let's go take a look at Ether, Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, right now it's not really doing much of anything. So it's not moving. What happens when Ethereum's not moving? It's when altcoins make the moves. So, I mean, you can look at it. We put out a video on Avalanche just an hour ago or so. It's had a pretty nice move. A very modest 65%. And you go look at other ones like Solana. I mean, Solana's been going crazy as well. This is one we haven't really done any dedicated videos on it, but I think it is an interesting project in the sense of having, you know, really, really quick transactions at the cost of scalability and whatnot for validators. But it's an interesting trade-off. And again, all trade-off, you know, a lot of people assume that one thing is better than another. That's not necessarily true, right? It's not. We don't know. We have to let the market to decide what is the most important. And, you know, I mean, Solana is another one that offers a different perspective on the market, and it says, you know what? We think the market's going to value this other thing more. So this is an interesting one to follow. It's putting in new all-time highs, in fact. I mean, it didn't really have a major run. In the sense of like it sort of plateaued here in late April. It didn't have a run like at the very end like ADA did, but it's already surpassed those highs from April. If we go look at say ADA, which I mean we have to go look at ADA. Let's go look at ADA. What's going on with ADA? So if you go look at ADA, it's coming in at a very modest $2.14. And you guys know what this looks like, right? I mean, this isn't anything new. This is what we've seen many times before. What does this look like? If you're unfamiliar with crypto, just go look at Ethereum USD back in the last cycle, right? Just go back and look. Let me go back and find this one. By the way, make sure you guys subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up. I don't know why you guys aren't liking the video. We got 181 likes, 1,300 viewers. You guys know what it looks like. I told you guys 2 years ago when ADA was less than 10 cents, when it was 2 cents and 3 cents, and a lot of people came in when it was $1 to tell you to buy it. I told you at 3 cents and 2 cents. These price movements for ADA look incredibly similar to what happened to Ethereum. Last cycle, what does it look like? It's just a whole lot of sideways. I mean, yeah, ADA's at $2. That's great. Okay, I'm not discounting that. But what this looks like to me is a platform. Okay, and no pun intended, right? It looks like a platform in which ADA is building a long-term base to bounce off of. Okay, this is what Ethereum did. You go back and look at last cycle. This is what Ethereum did. Okay, it had a base, it came up, and then it had a nice move down. And there was more than one. There was one over here too. It had a nice move down by a very modest 53% or so. And then it went back up. And by the way, this move came in February, it came down in April, and then back up. So then it actually rallied from that point about 216%, which is a fairly nice move. From there, it proceeded to dump another 73% before going on a crazy rally of 6,500%. Now, we have to ask ourselves, is ADA going to see a 6,500% rally from this point? Hell no, not this cycle. I'm sorry to burst your bubble. It's not going up 6,500% from this area, this cycle. Why not? Like, why do I have to rain on your parade? Well, you know, a 6,500% move by ADA from this point would put it, and I'm just going to show you why it's not, it doesn't really make a lot of sense this cycle by any stretch. It would put the valuation of ADA at, that's 65,000%, let me go to 6,500, at $143. Okay, so would I be extremely happy if ADA went to $143? I would be, but there's also this pesky thing called market capitalization, which will limit us in what we are able to achieve. So I don't expect that to happen. But what I would say, and by the way, Ethereum's market cap was tiny back over here compared to what compared to what ADA's is today. So it was tiny back then. We cannot compare them in terms of percent moves. But what you'll notice is that, you know, despite the fact that there was a couple 60% drops, maybe a 200% move, right? None of us are getting out of bed for 200% these days. What you'll notice is that it mostly just went sideways for a year. Ethereum went sideways for a year back in 2016. And it wasn't doing anything, right? I mean, so what? I mean, it went to $14 and then back down to $7 and then back up to $20 and then back down to $7 or $6. You know, these movements here are not why crypto investors get out of bed, right? These are not why crypto investors get out of bed. You can get these returns in the stock market, okay? Maybe, I mean, well, back then it was hard. Today, you know, I think we always thought that crypto would ultimately become like the stock market as time went on. It seems like the reverse is true. It seems like the stock market just became more like crypto, to be completely honest. And I mean, I'm a big investor in the stock market, but again, it feels like the stock market just became more like crypto rather than the other way around. So we look at this and say, well, you know, Ethereum had these sideways movements. And what was it, right? It was nothing to get worked up over. Again, no one got out of bed for a 100% move or anything like that. We don't care if it drops 60% during a market cycle. That's to be expected. So I look at Ethereum and I say, you know what? I lived through this. I also lived through this. And I'm telling you, I mean, it seems to me that ADA is more or less building out a long-term base. And I'm going to say it again, like, I don't care if it goes, if it comes back down. I don't care if it goes back up. I only care when it actually makes the move to the next level. And I don't know when it's going to do that. I really don't. I don't know if it's going to happen tomorrow, or if it's going to happen after, next month, or if it's going to happen next year, or if it just has to happen after Bitcoin goes to new all-time high. I don't know when it's going to happen. But what I will say is that I do believe it will happen at some point. And I'm not talking about a move to 250, right? I don't care about that. I mean, that's what we've been in this range forever. It's funny because crypto has a way of spoiling you. When you realize, when you see returns that are upwards of 10,000% or something, these little 2x moves are they're nothing to get super excited about, I think. So what we're looking for is, we want to know, when is this actually going to break out to the upside? When is it actually going to give us a $5 ADA? When is it going to give us a $10 ADA? Okay, that's the move we want, and we are still working our way up to that point, okay? So what does this move by ADA allow us to do? What does it allow us to do? Well, it allows us to relax a little bit, in my opinion. Why? Because if Bitcoin dumps again, which is always an unfortunate possibility, but if it dumps again, then ADA is probably just going to settle back in, right, where it's been settled in, just like Ethereum did. And if Bitcoin doesn't dump again, right, if Bitcoin doesn't dump, then maybe this is it, right? Maybe this is the move. It's that simple, okay? So ADA, as I said, as I told you guys in 2019, for the 5 of you that followed me back in 2019, it's going to be a fairly significant mover this cycle. It's going to be the racehorse of the market cycle. It's the primary hedge against Ethereum for me. And, I think it will trend up. Like, I do think it will trend up with time. With that said, I hold more Ethereum. And that doesn't make me, that doesn't mean like I don't believe in Ethereum, or I don't believe in ADA. It doesn't mean anything like that. Like, a lot of people assume that if you hold Ethereum, you can't like ADA, or if you hold Polkadot, you can't like Solana, or if you hold Matic, you can't like, some other projects. Like, it doesn't have to be like that, right? It's just, we're investors. We look at the different projects. We weigh the risks associated with them. We look at their potential upside. We say, you know what? I think the market's going to value that. Or I don't think the market is going to give, I don't think the market's going to care about this other thing at all. And then you don't invest in that. It doesn't have to be one or the other. It could just be a well-diversified crypto portfolio. But you don't want to be over-diversified, right? You don't want to be over-diversified in crypto, right? Pick out a few projects. You start with Bitcoin, and you go to Ethereum, and then pick out a handful of altcoins. You got your little basket of alts, and then just run with them, right? Stick with them. Ride the winners, drop the losers, take profits along the way, and that's how you successfully navigate crypto, right? That's how you successfully navigate crypto. So again, I say, right now ADA is at 213. We are coming into smart contracts next month. We'll see what happens after that. But again, my opinion is always the same with ADA. It's the racehorse of the market cycle. This ultimately is likely going to be a platform for which we boost off to, say, the $5 to $10 range. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I do think it'll happen at some point. This most recent move by ADA, just like this one over here, gives us the luxury to launch here. Bitcoin holds the line. Or if it doesn't and we come back down, we're hopefully just going to settle back in at the same price, and then we'll try again later. And then hopefully we succeed then. That's my opinion on ADA. Ethereum is right now, it's still trading well below the all-time high. And this isn't necessarily out of the ordinary. It doesn't really tend to put in new all-time highs in the summer, if history is any indication. Now, it can make rallies into June, but when you're talking about, say, like July and August and whatnot, it doesn't tend to put in new all-time highs. So will it be exciting if Ethereum could put in a new all-time high right now? Yeah, I would. And I would like to see how high it can go, like if it can go to 5K or something. Would it be out of the ordinary if it chilled for a little bit and didn't do much? No, that wouldn't be out of the ordinary. That would actually be somewhat expected. So I'm hoping that Ethereum can ultimately make it to around the 10K range, plus or minus a few K, right? I mean, I hope it's to the upside, but it could be to the downside as well. Like maybe 8K or something is a very conservative target for the cycle, which again does not have to be the peaking this year. I would say maybe around 8K is a somewhat conservative target for the grand scheme of the cycle, which could again extend beyond 2021. 10K is probably more moderate, and then maybe like 13K, 14K would be a little bit more optimistic. And then the 20K predictions are, I know everyone wants it to go there. Can it go there? It could go there, but if it went there, it would be for just like a fleeting moment in time, and most people wouldn't even get the chance to sell anyways, in my opinion. Anything above that, if you're calling for 50K Ethereum, this year or something, I just think you're selling hopium, and you're just doing it for the views. So what else are we going to talk about? Right. Well, we got to go talk about Bitcoin. Don't forget, Bitcoin is the one that rules the roost. And I think some of you guys forget it, right? Some of you guys forget it. Some of you look at it and you say, well, Bitcoin's not going to give me those returns I want, but it will protect you from the downside risk. Okay. It will protect you from that. And it still lets you reserve the right to make gains if it moves. And believe me, when Bitcoin moves, you're going to want to have it, right? When it moves, whether it's to the upside or the downside, you're going to want to have some Bitcoin because it'll help protect you if it's down, and it's going to be the only thing that moves if it goes up, more or less. Okay, don't forsake Bitcoin for a 100% altcoin portfolio. Don't do that, right? I know you guys want to chase the gains, and hey, more power to you. Get your altcoin stack. Don't forsake Bitcoin though. Don't forget it. Anytime you go buy an altcoin, I'd say pick up a little bit of Bitcoin too. Make sure you grow that stack, and when Bitcoin makes a move, whether it's up or, we all want it to be up, right? We would like for it to be up. We all want to see Bitcoin do well. We imagine that it will trend up with time. Again, if you're going to be deterministic about anything, it should be that Bitcoin trends up with time. We want it to go up. Therefore, when Bitcoin moves, your portfolio is going to go up with it if you're loaded up on Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin, if it has a pullback, then you're still going to want Bitcoin. So don't forsake Bitcoin for a 100% altcoin portfolio. Make sure you have a little bit of Bitcoin. Not that it's financial advice. I'm just talking to myself. You guys can do whatever the hell you want. What do you guys want to talk about? Let's see. Yeah, we got to watch the dollar. We're keeping an eye on it. We talk about the dollar about every couple of weeks or so, but honestly, the dollar is the main reason, in my opinion, to be concerned, right? The dollar going up does not cause Bitcoin to go down. Okay, let me be clear. The dollar going up does not cause Bitcoin to go down. It's just that when the dollar is going up, what it represents investors flocking to the relative safety of the US dollar. And you might, as a crypto investor, you're probably like, what in the hell has Ben talking about, the safety of the US dollar? The point is that when people think the stock market is overvalued, they might seek safety in the dollar. The same thing goes with crypto, right? If people are feeling like, the gains are just unsustainable and we need to have a pullback, they might seek safety by buying USD. Well, we got to go look at the dollar. Okay, so, if you think the dollar is boring and this is a reason to tune out, then I would say, just try to bear with me for a minute, right? A minute. Let's go look. What is the dollar doing? Keep an eye on it. Okay? And if you look at it, it's trying to put in here a new local top. Is it not? It's trying. It's at 93.426. The local top back in March was around the same level. Okay, it was around the same level. If the dollar is breaking up this way in the short term, it's going to pose, I feel like it's more likely than not going to pose somewhat of a challenge for Bitcoin to put in new all-time highs. in the short term. Now, with that said, I still think Bitcoin will put in new all-time highs this market cycle, but in the short term, if the dollar is pushing up, it will make it more challenging for Bitcoin to immediately put in new all-time highs. The reason we say that is not because Ben's just out to say it can't go up in the short term. It's just to say, well, look, in 2014, the dollar went up. We know 2014, Bitcoin went down. In 2018, we saw the dollar go up. In 2018, we know Bitcoin went down. In 2016 and 2017, the dollar went down. We know that Bitcoin went up in 2016 and 2017. And then in 2020 and early 2021, we know the dollar went down. We know that Bitcoin went up. Ergo, if the dollar has a short move up, then it'll likely kick the can down the road for Bitcoin. If the dollar comes back down, then put on your metaphorical laser eyes. That's the point I'm trying to make. It's nothing more, nothing less. If you don't have the dollar on your watch list, I would encourage you to add it to your watch list because it is important. And if you're watching the dollar break up to say like 78 or something again really, really quickly, then that is going to pose a challenge in the short term for Bitcoin to immediately put in new all-time highs. Doesn't mean we can't do it. It just means we're going to kick the can down the road for a little bit. Okay? That's the only point. It's the only point I'm trying to make with the dollar. So, let's go look at something else. What else do you guys want to talk about? Again, one of the things I liked to mention was this chart. I showed this chart back when we were at 29K. We said, you know what? Everyone is wanting Bitcoin. Or, we're always talking about should Bitcoin have to test 20K again. And we showed this chart and said, well, given the fact that the Fed is just printing money like it's, whatever, could we perhaps take that into account? And if you take the money supply into account, so if you take the price of Bitcoin and simply divide it by the money supply, what do you get? This is what you get. We already tested the 2017 all-time high, my friends, right? We already tested it. And you might say, well, that's a cop-out. Well, we never tested it in the past. I mean, after passing it, right? We never tested it in the past. This time we did test it, okay? This time was different, right? And the money supply can have a real effect on the markets. I mean, if the Fed's just printing money and everyone's getting their USD shitcoin airdrop, right? If everyone's just getting their USD airdrop and they're just FOMOing it into altcoins or something, then it can affect the crypto market, right? It can affect the crypto market. So with that in mind, we looked at this and we said, you know what? We've already tested it, right? We've already tested it. Right here on two separate wicks, in fact. So that's the point, right? That's the point I'm trying to make. All in all, we have tested the 2017 all-time high already if you account for the dollar. If you don't account for the dollar, then we haven't tested it. But if you account for the money supply, by the way, if you're not familiar with the money supply and you just think I'm blowing smoke, just go look at it, right? Go look at it on a monthly time scale and look what happened. Okay, well, let's go look. Let me, did it this update? Okay, I guess these are 2 months here. Let me zoom in. Let's go back to the month. So you can see the dollar, the money supply, M2, just shot up in March of 2020. You guys know what happened in March of 2020. I don't have to tell you. That's what happened, right? It shot up. It's affected the markets. I mean, before that, we were just more or less on this line. You can see that that's the line we were on. And instead of being where we should be with the money supply, had we stayed on that same line, we're about 22% above where we would have otherwise been had the pandemic not occurred. So you look at that and say, well, it kind of makes sense that we already tested the prior all-time high when you account for the money supply, which wasn't really as important in prior market cycles. Okay, so that is something to consider. Yes, this is a graph for ants. This is a graph for ants. But anyways, let me go over. Let's go back over to crypto. All right. Another one that I will have to keep an eye on, right? We'll have to keep an eye on the next time it gets tested to the upside or the downside is our corridor. We got to look at it from now on for sure, because I created it over here. I said, guys, I have no idea how well it's going to hold up. So far, it seems to have held up pretty damn well. You know, I mean, if you look at it, we tested this area several times, and then it went all the way down, and I mean, it basically went right to that line. I don't really know how close it got, but it got pretty close. I mean, it went down to 29.3K, and at the time it was at 29.2K, so it got to within $100 of the corridor. I would keep an eye on it. And we'll see, we'll see what happens. We'll see if how well it can predict things into the future. I don't know, right? I mean, it's a dubious fit. I'm not going to claim it's not, because it is, but it's worked out so far. We'll see if it can continue to work out. Right now, by the way, I mean, it is actually still decreasing, and right now it actually has the local if in the event of a dump, right? Which I'm not saying we're going to get, but if we got one, it says we could go down to 27.5. In the event of a pump, it says we could go up to a very modest $107,822. So that's what it says. Take it for what you will. All right, take it for what you will. All right. Yeah, Link is it could be doing better, right? It could be doing better, and let's go take a look. Let's overlay our bull market support band. So you can see that in the short term, we've actually not been able to get back above the bull market support band. At least the 20-week estimate, we are above the 21-week EMA, because the 21-week EMA is coming in at 24.26. The 20-week estimate, though, is at a very modest 27.15, which we are in fact below right now. And as I told you guys, I would not personally get super bullish again on Link until we see definitively that we have stopped the bleeding on the Link Ether valuation. Why do I say that? Well, to buy Ethereum, in my opinion, is less risky than buying Link. And if Link, which is a more risky coin, is doing nothing but bleeding against Ethereum, a less risky coin, then why do you buy Link? I mean, I believe in Link. I have a large stack of it, but the idea that it's going to immediately outperform Ethereum and go on a crazy run, I just don't know. Like, I want to see it change course, and it hasn't actually changed course yet. Maybe this is the beginning, right? Maybe this is when we look back and we say, this was where we finally changed course. I simply do not know. And until it changes course, until we see it coming back up here and actually getting back above the 20-week on the Link Ether valuation, it's still a falling knife. Technically speaking, it's still a falling knife, and I don't know when that's going to change. So I mean, for me, all I'm looking at with Link, I'm just looking at Link Ether. I'm just looking at the Link Ether valuation. And if I see it keep falling, I'm just going to say, well, it has to stop the bleeding at some point. And until that happens, it's just a falling knife. So that's what we would like to see. We'd like to see Link Ether stop the bleeding we'd like to see Link stop the bleeding against its Ethereum valuation. Until then, it's hard to imagine Link going on a crazy move. That's what we'd like to see. So we will keep an eye out on. I mean, if we get it, then I'll be the first to tell you, right? I mean, if we get it, you can see we tried to break it over here back in April. We were unable to break through it. Maybe we'll get another test here. If we break through it, then game on, right? Game on. Let's start moving up. I mean, this is where we spent most of our time above the 20-week before, right? That's where Link spent most of its time against Ethereum in years past. But over the last, year and a half or almost 2 years, since 1 year, since September of 2020, it's just bled against Ethereum. So we need to see that change. And until that changes, it's a falling knife. Unfortunately. All right, what else you guys got? By the way, if you guys like the content, you should subscribe. Let's get to 500,000 subscribers. We are sitting at 495,000. Make sure you subscribe, give the video a thumbs up. We also do have the premium list. If you guys want to check it out, we have a sale going on. Lock in the lower rate. If you guys want to know how I am navigating these markets, so just put it in the comments. We also do have staking pools, both for Avalanche and Cardano ADA. Cardano and Native Token ADA Avalanche and its native token AVAX. So you can see it over here if you guys want to go check it out. Staking.intothecryptoverse.com. You can go stake your Cardano. You can go stake your Avalanche. Go check it out. Make sure you're earning interest on your crypto. If you don't want to go stake with me, that's fine. Go stake it somewhere else, right? Just go stake it somewhere else. Just go earn interest on your crypto and stop letting your crypto collect dust in the meantime. Go earn interest on it. Plenty of other stake pools you can join if you don't want to join mine. So, what do I think the bottom for Bitcoin will be in the bear market? Well, my thinking on that, and I'll show you why. Okay, I'll show you why. So what we're gonna do in order to try to understand what the next bear market bottom will be is maybe we should look to see what it'll be at the next halving. Okay, so there's been several halvings. And what you'll notice is that at every prior halving, the price of Bitcoin has been around the fair value. For instance, if you go back to May of 2020, sorry, this is not the fair value, this is the bull market support band. If you go back to 2020, we were around the fair value right here. If you go back to 2016, back to July of 2016, we were again at the fair value. So, and again, if you go back another halving, the same thing. It was like $12 or $8 or something. It was way back over here in 2012. So that's just something else to consider, right? Right around here. So, where will the regression line be by the next halving? Well, I believe, if I remember correctly, it should be around the current price, I believe. Maybe, so the issue is you kind of have to refit it after every cycle, so it's hard to know. But I would say my best guess for the price of Bitcoin around the next halving is 50K plus or minus 10K, right? Plus or minus 10K. A lot can happen between now and then, though. Bitcoin could go up to 150K and then come back down. A lot could happen between now and the next halving. So that, I would say, the current prices of Bitcoin are probably higher than where we'll be by the next halving at the very least. And it's certainly possible that they're not higher than the prices that we'll have next month or 3 months from now. I don't know. If the price of Bitcoin comes back down before going back up, then you could get a better deal later on. But if it just goes up now, then of course this will just have been a crazy dip to take advantage of. So by the next halving, I think the price of Bitcoin will probably be 50K plus or minus 10K. I don't really know, exactly where the bottom will be, but that's sort of where I would think the price of Bitcoin would be by 2024. But again, a lot can happen between now and then. I would expect the price of Bitcoin to go up a lot between now and then just maybe have a correction back to those levels. Hopefully we can go up, 100K to 200K range. That would be my hope. And if, if it's certainly possible too that the we don't even make it back to 50K by the next halving. Maybe it doesn't even make it back to those levels. I don't know. It could be higher. Could be 60K, 70K. I don't really know at this point. Another thing we can look at to try to gauge future bottoms is this thing, that corridor we were looking at. And the only reason I say that is because if you look at say like the extension after the peak, so look at the extension after the peak up here of this metric, and then you draw that line across, whew, right there. And then if you do the next one at the peak, you take the extension from the peak here and you draw it across right here. So I don't know. Maybe these can sort of offer some stepping stones into future local bottoms. I don't know. I don't know what this one's going to be here. This one's at 123K. So, I don't know what this means. I don't know if we eventually come above it and then we come back down. Maybe we ultimately drop back to a different one. It's just something to keep in mind. What else? Let's go look at the 50-week and our support band. All right. So we always said a bounce off the 50-week is par for the course. You seldom see a move after a new local top that does not bounce off the 50-week. Even this one, it more or less bounced off the 50-week. You seldom see a move that doesn't bounce off the 50-week at the very least. That's not the hard part. The hard part is holding the bull market support band as support. So that's the main test. That's the main test that's coming. And I don't know when it's going to come. I don't know if it's going to come, next week, this week, six weeks from now, 3 months from now. I don't know. But I would say that's the key test. And again, the bull market support band ranges from a very modest $40,884 up to $42,721, which actually isn't too far off from this prior local top. Okay, so if we do end up getting a little bit more of a sustained correction here, we'll see the 21-week EMA converge up here, the 20-week SMA converge right here, and if we do come back down to test it, that will probably be a very important test in terms of what Bitcoin's going to do for the rest of the year. Okay, and then going into early 2022, because if it holds it, then we're probably looking at clear skies ahead. And if it doesn't hold it, then what we're going to do more than likely is we're going to kick the can down the road. Now, I'm not saying we're going to have to come back down to these levels down here. I know a lot of people are calling for like $10,000 Bitcoin again. I don't think that's going to happen, to be completely honest. Could we go back down to 30K? Yeah, we could. We could even go lower than that. But even if we get rejected here, I still think that we'll hold the bull market support band on the next test. So I think we'll either hold it on this test or the next test. I don't think it's going to take 2 years to hold it as support like it did in the past. So I'd say either this test or the next one. And if it is this one, then we know hopefully we can hold it as support, for several weeks, and then just rock it off. If it doesn't hold as support, then I would say we're kicking the can down the road another 3 months. Okay, that would be my interpretation of it. If we start closing weekly candles back down here, I would say we're kicking the can down the road another 3 months. The 20-week moving average will continue to come down, and then maybe we'll try to hold it at around 40K as opposed to trying to hold it at around 43K or something, or maybe we'll try to hold it at 38K. I don't know. But the point is, I think we'll either hold it this time, and if not this time, we'll hold it on the next test. And so that's sort of my general outlook on the market for Bitcoin. So with that said, what questions do we have? Someone says, but won't it likely be a slow September anyways? I don't know. I mean, previously a lot of the September sell-offs were attributed to miners in China. Since China decided to basically, ban all their miners and whatnot, I don't know how it's going to play out. I don't know if September is going to be a bad month. Usually, if you're new to crypto, September, I think, is like the worst month on average. Like the average returns monthly for every single month, if you just sort of look at them, like September is actually like negative, I don't know, like negative 8% on average or something. Like it's the worst month historically, I believe, for Bitcoin. I don't know if we're going to get it again. I don't know if we're going to get it. I mean, maybe this time is different with the miners and whatnot in China, but I don't know. I mean, I certainly think that September could be uneventful if we're just testing the 20-week and maybe nothing's really happening in crypto and we're just sort of like trudging along on top of the 20-week trying to see if it holds or not. We'll see. I mean, we're not even that far away from September. Just a couple of weeks we'll be in September. Did we talk about the 200-day? No, we did not yet. I mean, I think we should. It's certainly worth keeping an eye on because we are back below it right now. And, obviously people would like to be above the 200-day. I think the 20-day might be worth watching as well because it is actually coming up relatively quickly. We have seen a lot of bounces off the 20-day in the past. For instance, we've seen... we saw like a nice bounce right here. We saw a nice bounce right here. I think the bounces can be 15 to 20% bounces. if we actually get a bounce off of it. Not bouncing off of it doesn't mean that the entire cycle is over. It just means we're not getting that immediate bounce. A lot of times though, if it does bounce, you're looking at maybe a 15 to 20% bounce. So if you got a 15 to 20% bounce off of it, I mean, you can maybe see it go up to 50K if it actually bounced off the 20-day. The 20-day right now is at 43.7K. So about $1,000 shy of where we currently are. And our regression bands. So our regression bands now, if you're curious, we never actually had a weekly close up here in one. The lower bound on the upper regression band is now at 70.2K. So we'd have to go to 70K just to get back in it. To get to the top of it, we'd have to go to 103.7K. So we got a long way to go to ever get back up to the top of it. From the current prices of Bitcoin, that would represent a move of approximately 137%. If we go back down and kiss the bottom one before going up, it would represent a drop of about 47%. So again, we're sort of in no man's land, right? It's no man's land. It's like, I mean, it's not nearly as risky as buying up here, but it's not as carefree of an investment if you're buying down here. We're sort of in no man's land, right? And we've seen this before. Sometimes it goes down. Sometimes we just go back up from no man's land. It's clearly not as obvious of a buy or sell, right? I mean, down here, it was clearly an obvious buy. As we said back then on the channel for years, we said, buy Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin. We're all going to look back at this in a few years and wish we bought more. Everyone always wishes they bought more. That's a good feeling to have. It's a better feeling than wishing you hadn't bought as much. And then when you come up to the upper regression band, normally everyone says, well, hey, it's going to break, and then it doesn't. So right now we're sort of in no man's land still. And hopefully, I mean, I'm hoping at some point we can make it up to the top of the regression band. Whether that's this year or next year, I don't know. But I do think we will make it back up there at some point. Within the next 1 to 2 years, we'll make it back up there, in my opinion. I don't think we're going to have to wait until 2025 to make it back up to the regression band, which is what some people are calling for. Because I know there's a lot of people out there that are super bearish on Bitcoin, calling it to go down to 10K. 10K would essentially be the bottom of this regression band. So they're basically saying it's going to go back to this level. I don't believe that. I don't think we're going to go back to 10K by any stretch of the imagination. Worst case scenario for me is a wick down, and if we do get a wick down, this would be worst case, right? Worst case, probably not going to happen. But if we did get it, then I would sure as load the hell up on Bitcoin if you're not already loaded up. If we get another wick down, like a capitulation event like March of 2020 or December 2018, these, while a lot of people fear them, those are what normally kick off major moves. Okay. Now, you could obviously argue that we already had it at 29K, and it's possible that 29K is the lowest price you're going to see for Bitcoin ever again, right? It's possible that 29K is the lowest price you're ever going to see ever again. But if we do go below it, I would say that will be like a defining moment for Bitcoin if we go below it, because in my opinion, if we went below it, it would probably just be sort of like a slingshot or something that just propels Bitcoin up to 100K relatively quickly. So we either go up here, or we kick the can down the road for a few more months, and then we go up. That's my opinion on the market. I said 3 to 6 months back over in May. I said 3 to 6 months. It's been 3 months so far. It's either now or, in my opinion, 3 months from now by the end of the year or whatnot. That's where I see the market. So, all right, what do you guys want to talk about? Yeah, we already spoke about the dollar, Samuel. So maybe just scroll back in the video a little bit and you'll find where we spoke about the dollar. We already spoke about ADA. You guys are just suggesting the same stuff we've already talked about. What did I have for dinner? I actually had chicken wings for dinner. Yeah, freaking Josh. I put out a tweet earlier saying, should we go live? Josh said no. And I said, we're going to go live anyways. Yeah, I kind of want to keep an eye on Bitcoin because right now it's sitting at that 44.5, 44.6 level. If it drops here, I feel like probably the next major area is 43.5. That'd be an area to look out for, like 43.5, 43.7. Below that, 42K. In the event we go below that, 42K. That being the prior local top, and that's get around the 20-week SMA. And then below that, it would be the 21-week EMA, like 40.8K. So those would be the key areas I think to look for in the event of a drop from these levels. Have I ever used Bitcoin to buy a product? No. But I mean, to be completely honest, I don't think Bitcoin is a future peer-to-peer currency. I think it's just a way to invest and store value. I don't see it as something I'm going to be, like I'm not going to use Bitcoin to buy coffee if I think that Bitcoin's going to be worth, it could be worth twice as much tomorrow. The opportunity cost is too damn high, right? So no, I'm not going to do that. I think future peer-to-peer currencies are stable coins, honestly. Like, who wants to go spend their Bitcoin and Ethereum on food and whatnot if you think the valuation is going to go up tomorrow? I just don't think it makes sense. In my opinion, it's smarter just to invest. To my opinion, right? Everyone has one. Yeah, the NFT. We actually just the NFT it ended the other day. So we got some. I believe his name was Scorpio that got it. Yeah, you can check those out if you guys want to check it out. The prior NFTs, you can go check it out at nft.intothecryptoverse.com. Why do you guys care about the chairs so much? Someone says he doesn't use real estate to buy Starbucks either. Is the cow and corridor available? Yeah, it is, but it's just available on the premium list. If you sign up to the premium list, you get all the trading view indicators and whatnot, and weekly reports, weekly videos. Check it out. We have the sale going on. You can find it in the description or the comments. I'll post it in the comments. When you get to 500,000 subs, will I upgrade my mic? I don't really understand what is wrong with my mic. It seems like it's a perfectly fine mic. Testing. I feel like this mic is fine. I don't know why you guys complain about it. I have to put it on this other desk over here because my main desk again is a cardboard desk. There's actually glass panels sitting on a cardboard desk, and so if I put the mic on the glass, which is sitting on cardboard, it shakes a lot and it doesn't sound good. So I have to put it over there, which is about a foot away. Why is my webcam always lagging? It's because I sold some of the frames per second to buy Bitcoin. Why is my door always open in the back? I don't know. That's a good question. What do you think's behind door number 2? Show the cardboard desk. It's kind of hard to show because I mean I can show if I move the camera, I guess. It's the cardboard. See, it's like a glass panel on top of these cardboard boxes. Who has time for anything more fancy than that? What's the best chicken wing sauce? I like honey barbecue. That's just me. Why do I have bad eating habits? I actually don't usually eat lunch. I also, a lot of time, well, I usually don't eat breakfast and I only eat lunch like half the time. I don't know. I guess the cryptoverse just kind of sucks me in. Why is my shirt blue? That's kind of a weird question. Yes, I do have a PhD in nuclear engineering. I'm not an alien, no. All right, let's see what Bitcoin's doing here. We gotta zoom in here on the 1 minute chart. What's it doing? $44,414. Don't you think using cardboard boxes instead of furniture makes you look like you aren't succeeding in crypto? I think it's better than flaunting wealth and doing the reverse. So no, I mean I feel like just because you're making money doesn't mean you have to flaunt it. I feel like people that are flaunting their wealth are just basically trying to cover up for insecurities, to be completely honest, and they're trying to get your approval. So no, I do not think it is anything like that. You should always live below your means, right? If you're constantly not living below your means, then I think you're doing something wrong, right? You're doing something wrong. So once you start making money, still live as if you're not making money, and then that's how you actually make a lot of money. Okay, so when you make money, keep living as if you don't make money, and then you'll make even more money. I think that's the advice you should go with. Okay, I mean that doesn't mean you can't upgrade your lifestyle and whatnot. But if you make more money and then you constantly upgrade your life, commensurate with the amount of money you're making, then you're never going to get as far ahead as you want. But if you mentally, it's all mental, right? Pretend like you're not making that much money and keep living as frugally as possible for as long as you can, and then you'll be so much better off than if you just blown on your money on an actual wooden desk, right? Who does that? All right, Bitcoin's now at 44,359. Yeah, live like a poor college student. My bedroom literally is just a single mattress on the ground with literally no furniture. I promise you, I put a picture of it on Twitter. It is literally an entire room with a mattress on the ground and no furniture. Do I feel like my interviewing skills have improved? I do. So the main two pieces of criticism I got on my interview skills, and I want you guys' feedback because they're trying to get better. The first one is don't be so damn defensive. Okay, so that was from the Michael Saylor interview. Don't be so damn defensive. So I've tried not to do that. And then the second piece of feedback I got is, Ben, stop talking all the damn time. Like, let the other person talk. So that's the other piece of feedback that I'm trying to let run. Which, I mean, I know with Saylor I let him talk a lot, but with other interviewees I haven't let them necessarily talk as much as I should. So those are the two main pieces of advice I've gotten. So if you're also going to do if you're doing your own interviews on your own channel, those are the two pieces of advice that people will tell you. Don't be so defensive and stop talking all the time. Let your guest speak. I don't know if you guys have a third piece of advice, I'm willing to take it. Ben Cowan or Dave Ramsey. I feel like Dave Ramsey gives, I don't know, I mean, I don't really want to get into all that stuff necessarily, but some of the advice he gives out is, in my opinion, um, yeah, and there's some things he says, in my opinion, that don't really make a whole lot of sense. Um, but it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Different stroke or different strokes for different folks, I guess. All right, so we're actually approaching the prior local bottom over here of 44.2. Right now we're at 44.296. I imagine the dominance is actually still pretty low. Ethereum's now back below 3K. So this is what we're talking about, all right? If Bitcoin, it's a big if. It's a big if. If Bitcoin dumps, then one of the nice things for ADA, right? One of the nice things for ADA is that this recent pump should help, it should help temper what would happen if Bitcoin did dump. Like then it would probably just come back to these levels, okay? If Bitcoin doesn't dump, then maybe this is a launch pad. We'll have to see what Bitcoin does here. Right now we're at 44,360. Get a bookcase and put loads of books in it. I don't know. Actually, all of my books are in door number 4 over there. You see that door in the corner over there? All of my books that used to be in those bookcases are in that doorway over there, and they're in boxes. Ben, majority of people are mostly wrong, right? Everyone is waiting for end of year, end of cycle rally. What possibility are we on? I don't know about what you mean by everyone, because as I've said before, I believe the cycles are lengthening and that we're not going to have a market cycle peak this year. Therefore, we could continue playing in the sandbox for a while. I think a lot of people think the cycle is going to peak in December. I've been fairly adamant since 2019 that the peak will not be in December. We'll see. We'll see. Could I be wrong? Of course I can be wrong. I've been wrong many times in my life. So I certainly can be wrong about that, but I don't think the market cycle peak is in December. Probably going to be later, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. When is the earliest for Bitcoin to peak to still justify lengthening cycles? Well, I mean, it just needs to technically lengthen, right? It has to. I mean, I don't think you can call it a lengthened cycle in 2021. I mean, if the peak is in 2021, then it's not a lengthened cycle. If it's if it's out in 2022, 2023, then it's a lengthened cycle. I don't think it needs to be any more complicated than that. Will there be baby cryptoverse shirts when I have kids? I do have kids. I have 3 kids. One's 3. Sorry, one is not 3. One is 2. One is 5, and one is 10 months. The one who's 2 doesn't actually turn 3 for like 6 months or so. So I don't even know what I was thinking of. But yeah, 5, 2, and 10 months. Yeah, we do have some T-shirts and whatnot and coffee mug. You guys can go check that out on the store.intothecryptoverse.com. I will put that in the chat. But yeah, you can see the dubious speculation. These ones are very dubious because they're V-necks. If you want like the crew neck, whatever, you have these other shirts. What's a few trillion among friends, right? What is a few trillion among friends? Go check it out. Obviously, there's for men and women. These jackets are actually really nice. If you need a sweatshirt, I really like this one. The material is called Bella Canvas. It has to be Bella, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum, Link, and ADA. So um, let's see what happens here at 44.3. I don't think institutional money changes things. No, I mean, I feel like institutional money is needed to get to six figures, and I feel like that's what we're going to trend higher for a while. And I don't think the peak is this year. I don't. I mean, I know that's not a popular theory, but I mean, first they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win, right? So we'll see. We'll see what happens in 2022. If we're not putting in new all-time highs in 2022, then I was wrong. Okay, if we are putting in new all-time highs in 2022, then lengthening cycles are a thing. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, our kids do have really nice furniture. They do have nice furniture. It's one thing to it's one thing to be minimalistic yourself, but the point is not to make your kids have to do the same. So no, I mean for the kids we above and beyond, right? For the kids it's different. Would I rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck? I think I've seen this question before. Would I rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck? I will say that a horse-sized duck seems scary as hell. So I think I'd rather fight 100 duck-sized horses. Than one horse-sized duck. How do you even fight a horse-sized duck? If Bitcoin hits 70K by December, do I consider that the market cycle top? No, I mean, we could be at 70K in December and then we could be at 140K by the summer of 2022, right? I mean, I don't think 70K, if we're at 70K in December, I don't think it's the market cycle top. Can I try to get Charles Hoskins on the show? I don't think he wants to come on the show. I've asked him many times. He never responds. What is my favorite flavor of Doritos? I don't think I have. I mean, whatever the original one is, probably, because I think that's all I've ever had. But I haven't had Doritos, and I don't even remember the last time I had Doritos, to be completely honest. Regina says she's having a problem logging to the website. Just reach out to the support, and they'll figure it out. Why do I hate Doritos? I don't hate Doritos. Just because I don't eat them doesn't mean I hate them. Did I like Game of Thrones final season? Uh, who did like Game of Thrones final season? I didn't realize anyone liked the final season. Someone says everything after season 4 was crap. I thought season 5. I'm trying to remember. I thought season 5 was. I thought season 5 was okay, but I guess they kind of blur together now. I think was it season 6 where it started to really go downhill. I don't remember. It was somewhere around 5 or 6 where it started to go downhill. How to apply for a NFT partnership? Sorry, I don't do partnerships. Yeah, I think the Wheel of Time will be interesting to see when they actually put that show out. Do I believe in the flippening? I think it's possible. I don't think it's possible this year. I don't really think it's possible next year either. But yeah, I feel like it certainly is. It is theoretically possible. So I don't want to completely dismiss that possibility. And I say that as someone who I have more Bitcoin than Ethereum, but I still think it certainly is possible that Ethereum does flip Bitcoin at some point. But I don't think it's this year. And I have a hard time thinking it would happen next year either. Maybe 2023, 2024, maybe. I don't know, but probably not. Probably not this year. I'll tell you my opinion on. There's a lot of. This is my opinion. Okay, Ethereum, the most of the people who are like who don't like Ethereum, I think also don't actually know how to read code. In my opinion, like I feel like they just buy Bitcoin because it's like it's simple, right? It's simple to understand. I'd actually like to ask a lot of Bitcoin maxi. Bitcoin is number one in my portfolio. I'm not going to dispute that, but I think there's more room for other projects than just Bitcoin. In my opinion, if you look around, most of the people that love Ethereum are people that understand the utility that it offers, and a lot of them are tech savvy. Most tech savvy people like Ethereum. And I feel like those that don't like Ethereum probably are, they just, I don't know. I don't really know what the deal is, honestly. But they say that Bitcoin is basically the only thing worth investing in. I wholeheartedly disagree. I would say Ethereum is definitely a worthwhile investment. And I mean, just look at. I feel like it's only going to grow. Like Ethereum's only going to grow over the years. It's only going to get bigger. To neglect Ethereum over the long haul, in my opinion, is a huge mistake. So yeah, don't neglect Ethereum. Did I just hear a cicada? Maybe they're actually, yeah, they're really. Well, I mean, I don't know if they're crickets or what, but um, they're pretty loud. I did speak. I did speak to Michael Saylor um, off stream a little bit about Ethereum, uh, but yeah, we didn't really talk about it much on the on the actual channel on the pre-recorded video. We mainly just spoke about Bitcoin for the most part. We did speak a little bit about Ethereum, I think, but mostly from like a regulation point of view. Which, I mean, to be fair, he's got a point, right? Gonna have some regulation stuff to deal with. Um, but yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, we can get past that and continue just moving up. Why does my room look so empty? Because it is empty. Hi, Cindy. Can you explain why someone who likes ADA more than ETH doesn't like BCH or BSV more than Bitcoin? Um, I don't know. I mean, I don't know who. I mean, I don't like ADA more than ETH. I like ETH more than ADA, but I also like ADA. My video frame is covering the price. Oh, here you go. We're at 44,256. We actually just put in a new local low there because we actually went slightly below it. All right, 44,197. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I know. Someone says Ethereum's under 3K. Yeah, it's under, what is this? 2974. Do I still see Link heading the double digits? Well, double digits would be going back to $10. Or no, double. I mean, no, it's already in double digits. Wait, what am I saying? It's already in double digits. I don't know. I don't know what you mean, double digits. I mean, do you mean like normally if you say double digits, it means like you're going up to $10 or something, but it's already double digits. All right, 44,152. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we if how low it goes here. If we break into the 43 range. Oh, Link hitting 100. Yeah, I feel like it probably will. All right, 44. Let's see. We're going down a little. 44.80. Let's see. What is the dominance doing? The dominance is barely moving up, which means altcoins are still trying to hold on. We're still above the 20-week though, so I mean it's it's certainly possible that they hold on. The 20-week again is a couple $1,000s below where we currently are. So 44,121. So we are at a new local low here over the last several. I mean local low in terms of the last several days, because this low here was a little bit higher at 44.2K. Now we're at 44.1. Yeah, we had a pretty big drop here. 45.2 all the way down to 44.1. And this was over the time frame of the last hour and 40 minutes. So essentially it's almost as long. We started streaming an hour and 15 minutes ago. So we started streaming right here. So yeah, it's been going down basically the entire time we've been streaming. Can you super chat? No, you cannot. All right, we're at 44,151. ADA is actually still holding up relatively well here at 209. But again, this is one of those things where it's like if Bitcoin does dump, then ADA is still just kind of going back down to the sandbox, right? And we'll continue along. This is a pretty quick drop here. I mean, this is a 2.25% drop over the last 2 hours. All the way down, it was at 2.5% in 2.5 hours. Yeah, the dollar is moving, right? Yeah, you have to keep an eye on the dollar. That's what we talked about that earlier in the video. So here's Bitcoin. So it went. So the local bottom there, the local where it just went, was around 44.74. So it just went to 44.74. So it just bounced up a little bit back to 44.269. By the way, guys, make sure you subscribe. If you're not subscribed, make sure you guys subscribe. I don't really know. What are we at? We're at 495,206 subscribers. Still have a little ways to go to get to that 500,000 mark. But if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Consider subscribing. Click the bell icon to turn on notifications. Give the video a thumbs up. I'm out of focus. I don't know why. Let me see if I can fix it. Is that better? Yeah, that's better. I'll make it really small. Should be crystal clear now. If Bitcoin hits 100K into this year and lengthening cycles extends, it continues to bull higher next year. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think it can go higher next year. Yes. Where did I go? On the bottom right. All right, Actually, I think we'll probably end the stream. I mean, you know, what are we gonna do? Bitcoin's at 44.2. What else are we gonna talk about? All right, why don't we wrap it up there? 44, we'll end it on 44,293. Make sure you guys subscribe. If you're not subscribed, give the video a thumbs up. Remember, we have the premium list. If you guys want to check that out, find the link to the sale in the description below. If you want to have navigate these markets, thank you guys for tuning in. Subscribe. I will see you next time.